It's that time of year again when everyone is looking for a dark, gritty anime that gives you a cold sweat and a chill up your spine. If that is what you're looking for, this list is for you. So let's talk. Number 10, When They Cry, Higurashi. In the small village of Hinamizawa, Rika and her friends live together in relative harmony. Beneath the mask of peace, however, lies a hidden darkness, one that Rika understands all too well. In this eternal summer, she has been witness to unspeakable horrors. Every time the clock resets, Rika must try to find the villain behind these senseless deaths before tragedy strikes again. However, trying to decipher a mystery when only half the clues are present proves time and time again to be disastrous. And each time she believes that things will change, she inevitably fails. As the annual festival approaches, Rika begins her descent from hope to despair in her struggle to break the chains of fate entangling them all. There's also a new remake of the series, so it's worth to check out in this fall. Number 9, Elfin Lied. Lucy is a special breed of human, referred to as a Diclonius, born with a short pair of horns and invisible tentacle hands that land her as a victim of inhumane scientific experiments by the government. However, once circumstances present her an opportunity to escape, Lucy, corrupted by the confinement and torture, unleashes a torture of bloodshed as she escapes her captors. During her breakout, she receives a crippling head injury that leaves her with a split personality, someone with the mentality of a harmless child possessing limited speech capability. In this state of instability, she stumbles upon two college students, Kyota and his cousin, Yuka, who unknowingly take an injured fugitive into their care, unaware of her murderous tendencies. This act of kindness will change their lives as soon as they find themselves dragged into the shadowy world of a government conspiracy. Number 8, Chika. 15-year-old Megumi Shimizu dreamed of a glamorous life in the big city. However, her unexpected death in the quiet village of Sotaba marks the beginning of what appears to be a ferocious epidemic that turns the hot summer into a season of blood and terror. A young doctor named Toshi Ozaki begins to doubt the nature of the disease and comes to understand that to discover the truth, he must abandon his humanity. Meanwhile, Natsuno Yuki, an antisocial youth from the city, is haunted by the sudden death of Megumi and must realize the pain of friendship in the face of his own tragedy. Toshi and Natsumi form an unlikely pair as they work together to save Sotaba before it transforms into a ghost town of vampires. Chika, adapted from the horror novel written by Fiyomi Ono, goes beyond the average vampire story. It tells the tragic tale of survival in a world where one cannot easily distinguish between good and evil. Abandoned by God, the Shiki, as the vampires call themselves, have only their will to live as they clash with the fear of the paranoid, unbelieving villagers. Shiki explores the boundaries that separate man from monster. Number 7, Another. In 1972, a popular student in Yomiyami North Middle School, Class 3-3, named Misaka passed away during the school year. Since then, the town of Yomiyami has been shrouded by a fearful atmosphere from the dark secrets hidden deep within. 26 years later, 15-year-old Saka Kabari transfers into Class 3-3 of Yomiyami North and soon after discovers that a strange, gloomy mood seems to hang over all the students. He also finds himself drawn to the mysterious eye patch wearing student, Misaka. However, the rest of the class and the teachers seem to treat her like she doesn't even exist. Paying no heed to warnings from everyone, including Mai herself, Koyuchi begins to get closer, not only to her, but also to the truth behind the gruesome phenomenon plaguing Class 3-3 of Yomiyami North. Another follows Kuchiki, Mai, and their classmates as they are pulled into the enigma surrounding a series of inevitable tragic events, but unraveling the horrors of Yomiyami may just cost them the ultimate price. Number 6, Parasite the Maximum. All of a sudden, they arrive, parasitic aliens that descend upon Earth and quickly infiltrate humanity by burrowing into the brains of vulnerable targets. These unstable beings acquire full control of their hosts and are able to morph into a variety of forms in order to feed on unsuspecting prey. 16-year-old high school student Izumi falls victim to one of these parasites, but it fails to take over his brain, ending up in his right hand instead. Unable to relocate, the parasite, now named Migi, has no choice but to rely on Shinichi in order to stay alive. Thus, the pair is forced into an uneasy coexistence and must defend themselves from hostile parasites that hope to eradicate this new threat to their species. Number 5. Inuashiki, Last Hero. Ichiro is a 58-year-old family man who is going through a difficult time in his life. Though his frequent back problems are painful, nothing hurts quite as much as the indifference and distaste that his wife and children have for him. Despite this, Ichiro still manages to find solace in Hanako and abandon Shiba Inu that he adopts into his home. However, his life takes a turn for the worse when a follow-up physician examination reveals that Inuichiro has stomach cancer and only 3 months to live. Though he tries to be strong, his family disinterest causes an emotional breakdown. Running off into a nearby field, Ichiro embraces his dog and weeps until he notices a strange figure standing before him. Suddenly, a bright light appears and Ichiro is enveloped by smoke and dust. When he comes to, he discovers something is amiss. He's been reborn as a mechanized weapon wearing the skin of his former self. Though initially shocked, the compassionate Ichiro immediately uses his newfound powers to save a life, an act of kindness that fills him with hope and happiness. However, the origins of these strange powers remain unclear. Who is the mysterious figure at the site of the explosion, and are they as kind as Ichiro when it comes to using these dangerous gifts? Number 4. Future Diary. Lonely high school student Yuketeru Amano spends his days writing a diary on his cell phone while conversing with his 2 seemingly imaginary friends, Deus Ex Machina, who is the god of time and space, and Murmur, the god's servant. Revealing himself to be an actual entity, Deus grants Yuketeru a random diary, which shows highly descriptive entities based on the future and forces him into a bloody battle royale with 11 other holders of similar powerful future diaries. With the last person standing designated as the new god of time and space, Yuketeru must find and kill the other 11 in order to survive. He reluctantly teams up with his obsessive stalker, Uno, who also possesses such a diary, and she takes it upon herself to ensure his safety. But there's more to the girl than meets the eye, as she might have other plans for her unrequited love. Number 3. Monster. Dr. Kenzo Tenma, an elite neurosurgeon recently engaged to his hospital director's daughter, is well on his way to ascending to the hospital's hierarchy. That is until one night, a seemingly small event changes Dr. Tenma's life forever. While preparing to perform surgery on someone, he gets a call from the hospital director telling him to switch patients and instead perform life-saving brain surgery on a famous performer. His fellow doctor, fiancé, and the hospital director applaud his accomplishments. But because of the switch, a poor immigrant worker is dead, causing Dr. Tenma to have a crisis of consciousness. So when a similar situation arises, Dr. Tenma stands his ground and chooses to perform his surgery on a young boy instead of the town mayor. Unfortunately, this choice leads to serious ramifications for Dr. Tenma, losing his social status being one of them. However, with the mysterious death of the director and 2 other doctors, Dr. Tenma's position is restored. With no evidence to convict him, he is released and goes on to attain the position of the hospital director. 9 years later, when Dr. Tenma saves the life of a criminal, his past comes back to haunt him. Once again, he comes face to face with the monster he operated on. He must now embark on a quest of pursuit to make amends for the havoc spread by the ones he saved. Number 2. Terror and Resonance. Painted in red, the word Vaughn is all that is left behind after a terrorist attack on a nuclear facility in Japan. The government is shattered by their inability to act, and the police are left frantically searching for ways to crack down on the perpetrators. The public are clueless, until 6 months later a strange video makes its way onto the internet. In it, 2 teenage boys who identify themselves as Sphinx directly challenge the police, threatening to cause destruction and mayhem across Tokyo. Unable to stop mass panic quickly spreading through the city and desperate for any lead in their investigation, the police struggle to act effectively against these terrorists, with Detective Shibakaza caught in the middle of it all. Zankyu no Terror tells the story of 9 and 12, the 2 boys behind the masked figures of Sphinx. They should not exist, yet they stand strong in a world of deception and secret, while they make the city fall around them, in the hopes of burying their own tragic truth. Number 1. Psychopaths. Justice and the enforcement of it has changed. In the 22nd century, Japan enforces a sibyl system, an objective means of determining the threat of a level of each citizen by examining their mental state for signs of criminal intent. known as their Psychopaths. Inspectors uphold the law by subjecting, often with lethal force, anyone harboring the slightest ill will. Into this world steps Akane, a young woman with an honest desire to uphold justice. However, as she works alongside veteran enforcer Shinya, she soon learns that the civil system judgments are not as perfect as her fellow inspectors assume. With everything she has known turned on its head, Akane wrestles with the question of what justice truly is, and whether it can be upheld through the use of the system that may already be corrupt. Did I miss your favorite horror anime? Was one of your favorites on the list? Leave a comment down below and tell me if your favorite horror anime was on my list. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to get a notification when I upload for more great content like this. If you want to chat, hit me up on my Twitch stream. I'm live every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thanks for coming. Talk to you guys later.